Today I am going to tell you the tale of Midas. You must have heard different versions in different languages, but the moral always remains the same. But before we get to that, let's listen to the story first. For this story, you have no video because I want you to give your eyes a break and give wings to your imagination.
Once upon a time, there lived a king named Midas who loved gold. King Midas had a beautiful daughter named Goldie, whom he loved with all his heart. But Midas often neglected his child, for he spent all his time admiring his treasure rooms and counting his gold. Father, Goldie would say, "Come outside with me and see the flowers blooming." "No time," Midas would answer, patting her head. "Here, my child, this dazzling golden necklace will amuse you." Goldie did not care for jewels or gold. She loved walking barefoot in her simple clothes over grassy fields. She loved the feel of the wind in her hair, roses and bird songs, the light in the sky at dusk and dawn, the scent of wood smoke. She often walked alone, wishing that her father would join her and learn to love the world as she did. One day, as Midas sat in his treasure room counting his gold, a man appeared before him. He did not look like any ordinary man. He wore a leopard's skin around his broad bronze shoulders, and vines were twined around his head. "Who are you?" Midas asked. "I am Bacchus, god of wine and pleasure," the stranger said. "I have come to thank you for being kind to my old teacher, Silenus. The gods do not forget such kindness. I have come to grant you any wish you make." "Ah, yes," Midas said, for the remembered an old man had appeared one night at the palace gates. Midas had given him food and shelter, and the old man had thanked him and promised he would be rewarded. "So a god has come to give thanks?" Midas was thrilled. "Please be seated," Midas said, "and look at my beautiful coins." Bacchus smiled weakly. "I prefer the way grapes glow when the sun shines down on them." Midas laughed. "Grapes look best served on a golden platter," he said. "My only wish is for gold. I wish all that I touch would turn to gold." "Your wish is granted," Bacchus said with a frown on his face, and disappeared as quickly as he had appeared. Just then, Midas heard the bell calling him to eat. He turned to leave the room. But as he touched the door, he gasped, for it had turned to gold. He touched his robe, and it too turned to gold. He looked down and saw that his leather sandals were pure gold. He walked through the hallway, touching everything he passed. The columns turned to gold as he did the floor beneath his feet. By the time he reached the table, he was brimming with his excitement. "Goldie," he cried, "I am the happiest man in the world." "But father," Goldie said, "your robe is stiff. Solid gold." Midas cried, "The god has granted me the golden touch." "Look at your chair, father," Goldie said unhappily. Sure enough, it was gold, and his napkin turned to gold with his touch. "We are the luckiest people in all the world," he said, reaching for a piece of bread. But at his horror, the bread had turned to gold. "Oh no," he cried. This was a terrible indeed. He could not eat anything, for everything he touched turned to gold. Staring down at his golden plate, he wondered what to do. "Oh, father, you will starve," Goldie exclaimed. She ran to his side to comfort him. "No, no," he cried, but before he could stop her, she had thrown her arms around him, and now his precious daughter was hard and cold, a golden statue, no longer a child. Oh, Beckers, Midas cried, take this dreadful gift away. I want my child. But Beckers was far away by then. He did not hear the king's cry. All that night the poor king wept, holding his daughter in his arms, wishing he could undo what he had done. I'll never be greedy again, he called to the gods. Please send Bacchus to me. I will be different from now on. At dawn, Bacchus appeared. Do you still love gold so much? He asked the king. No, no, take away my golden touch and give me back my child. He said, go to the river, bathe yourself, and you will be cured. Midas ran like lightning to the river and dived into the water. As he did, a small golden pellets floated past, but Midas no longer cared for these. He scrubbed and prayed to the gods, and before long his clothing became soft and white again, and his sandals turned to soft leather. He ran back to the palace and clasped his daughter to him. A moment later, she began to grow soft and warm. Oh, father, she said as her lips began to move. Father, I dreamt I could not speak or move. I dreamt that all the world was gold. Midas held her close to him. A terrible dream, my darling. That night, as Midas ate his dinner, he licked his lips. Never have I tasted such wonderful food. When he unfolded his napkin, he smiled at Goldie and said, and his linen is so beautiful. He took Goldie's hand in his. And you, my child, you are more precious than gold. Will you walk in the woods with me tonight, father? Goldie asked. I will, of course, the king said with delight. That evening, Goldie and King Midas walked into the woods, and he found more happiness there than he had ever known. Now Midas understood what real treasures were.
Moral of the story is God is given enough for men's need, but not for his greed. So children, always be grateful for what you have and you will keep getting more. Have you ever wondered why these Nani Dadi's stories stay with us forever? The reason is all this love and affection gets to us and the result is happiness. Stay tuned and practice gratitude while I will come back with another story. I will give you a small task. Make a list of 5 things that you are grateful for. By the time it reaches to 100, you will be the happiest person in the whole world.